Indian cities are growing at a rapid pace. With the ever-expanding road networks, metros and office spaces, urbanization is shrinking the cities of its green spaces. The IT capital of India, Bangalore, is no exception. From being a land of gardens and lakes, the city is now just a living memory of its original green self. It is expected that more than half of India's population will be living in cities by 2050, which will put tremendous stress on the nature and biodiversity around if we don't start acting now.
There are two ways of thinking of the earth. One is just that it's a resource. It gives us water, it gives us food, But the other way, which is the way of thinking of the earth as a repository of biodiversity, is that the earth is a living relative of ours. It contains all these species which we are evolutionarily related to in some form or the other. And we call this variety of life that we are all related to biodiversity.
So we are in the Electronic City campus of Wipro. It's a 70-acre campus in the outskirts of the city, and it hosts around 20,000 employees. In case of urban spaces, there is a clear lack of green spaces and urban commons. So looking at that, we said as a corporate, what we could in our own campuses.
To bring back the lost interactions with green spaces and biodiversity in the city, in 2012, Wipro made a conscious choice of converting its IT campus in Bangalore into a biodiversity-rich landscape. The first major landscape makeover was to convert the traditional grass lawn located at the center of the campus into a butterfly park. Native varieties of trees and specific varieties of plants were planted to naturally attract butterflies, birds, and other fauna into that area. At the same time as establishing the butterfly garden, the architects and designers did not want to crowd the place with too many words. Instead, with the help of artists from Auroville, they painted hand sculptures that would strike people when they walked through and prompt them to explore further.
We're trying to draw people into the landscape and open their minds or spark their imagination. If you encourage them to become naturalists, somebody who maybe on the weekend picks up that butterfly book at home and says, I think that, that was the lime green butterfly that I saw this morning. And then you open up the book and you see it and you read about it, and suddenly that connection is made. And that's basically what we're trying to do with these gardens.
The second landscape makeover initiated was something rarely seen in urban corporate campus designs: unique water and land-based ecosystems called wetlands.
So we really designed it as a series of trenches, or water collectors, which sort of flowed into each other. The inputs for which would be treated wastewater and rainwater.
While the series of tanks harvest and store rainwater from all parts of the campus, the native varieties of trees, plants, and shrubs help naturally recycle water. The landscape is now a thriving ecosystem of a diverse set of fauna, from birds to amphibians to fish and reptiles. Making employees part of this campus makeover was also at the heart of this project. Keeping this in mind, employee-owned and run initiatives like community gardens were conceptualized.
So I am very happy to be part of Wipro's community gardening initiative. So under this program, employees can adopt small patches of land within the campus, wherein we are allowed to grow vegetable plants and trees. This, I feel, has helped me and the team be amidst nature and relieve some of the stress that we are otherwise exposed to during our normal working life.
And it's not about the quantum of food that you take away. Probably you take away very little food. But when you start gardening, you realize the interactions with life. You see something eating something being eaten. So there are very important psychological manifestations of dealing with this kind of a campus that really can introduce a lot of mindsets changes.
I think the strategy is to create a mixture of environments and in a place where you have thousands of people working, you have to you have to draw them in and make them feel comfortable at home and let them explore, give them space.
The gardens that we make as biodiversity gardens will be dirty, will be unkempt, will not look manicured, but believe me, they are the most natural.
With absolutely no usage of chemical pesticides or fertilizers, the green landscapes at Wipro are allowed to grow in their natural way, giving a whole new meaning on how urban corporate campuses should look and feel.
I think projects like these do not fit into the conventional frameworks of financial returns. Therefore, it requires a certain mindset, a certain orientation to be able to look at these projects as something that are worthwhile doing.
If you look at cities today, a lot of the patches of green space that are remaining are in corporate campuses.
At Wipro, we believe in the need to look at corporate campuses as real sites of biodiversity protection as well as public engagement with nature.
There's so many people who work in these campuses and there's so much of impact they have on the rest of the city. If one campus like this can change the mindsets of a few people to then go back and connect with biodiversity where they live, and then, so this can become a node that has influence well beyond its current location to inspire many such pockets of examples and action.